He was a national athlete in his own right, the last man to beat Hasely Crawford on the local track. But today, we speak to Ephraim Serrette from the perspective of an administrator, the man credited with transforming track and field from an amateur organization to that of professional. Mr. Serrette, 60 years as an independent nation, how do you feel about what track and field as a sport has done for our nation?
Track has done quite well. I mean, not as popular as football, although football would have qualified for the World Cup back in 2006. But when we look at the regional and international competitions, from the Olympics, come right down to World Championships to the junior level, Carifta, track and field has really done, a great job.
You know, it's the only sport to have medals at every international event it has taken part in. How do you feel about that? 16 out of the 19 medals that we have as an Olympic nation, as a nation competing at the Olympics, has come from track and field. That says a lot about the sport itself.
It does, and I think we could have done much better with the investments. We always compare to Jamaica. Jamaica is a country that, nothing is free. We have free education here. Unlike in Jamaica, they have to pay to go to school. So from very early, people are looking for scholarships to go into school. And the national sport is track and field. Depends on where you ask that question in Trinidad, you could get a different answer.
One of the things you always tell me, you were even the last man to beat Hasely Crawford locally, right? But you also have you are the man that transformed track and field from an amateur sport to a professional sport in Trinidad and Tobago. Tell me about that process as an administrator and getting persons to understand, you know what, this is what we need to do.
All right, so coming back home, and there was a particular area in the stadium we used to sit, Hasely and some of the other athletes, and we used to call it Parliament. And we would have been looking at what was happening. And Hasely always said to me, you cannot change it from outside. So I made that decision back in 2005 to commit myself to give back to the sport. And I had this vision of sport as a business. And as a sprinter, I think the athletics in me is always like a competition. So I always want to see results. So I would have embarked on changing the name from National Amateur, maintaining the 3A. So we would have sent out things to clubs for suggestions, and we came up with the National Association of Athletics Administration of Trinidad and Tobago, removing the amateur.
Seeing the guys receive our third Olympic gold medal, something they earned, something they had to go through a process to get. How do you feel, how happy do you feel for the likes of Richard Thompson, Keston Bloodman, Emmanuel Callender, Mark Burns, and Aaron Armstrong?
It was very emotional, for me, looking at the presentation, to know that after 14 years, justice has been served. It's a big lesson here also for our younger athletes to understand the sport itself, and to be clean, to have a clean sport. And just looking at that ceremony, that changing of the silver medal to the gold medal, it just was mind-boggling for me. I mean, the guys deserve it. I mean, they had to wait 14 years, but eventually the system, it worked.
60 years of independence, you have been fortunate to be around to see, a successful period in Trinidad and Tobago track and field. What would you want for track and field going forward?
For me, I would want to see the support, not just from government, but from corporate Trinidad and Tobago. The government has put a number of things in place to encourage corporate Trinidad and Tobago to give the sport so that they get the rebates, but it's still not happening. So I would want to see that. I would want to see where parents, teachers understand the benefits of sport.